John, that got a little stretch there at the end, but glad to get that one over the line. First win of the season as well.
Yeah, it was important to get a win at home. Obviously, not our strongest start to the season, especially here. We probably could have made it a little bit more comfortable in the first half. They're a good team. They come play for man for man. Really difficult to play against, but we had chances, obviously. Missed the penalty, which could have made it a more comfortable night, but Marco with a great save at the end, and do you know what, at this stage we'll take anything that's coming.
Yeah, what's been going on this season from your point of view?
Well, it's a collective responsibility. We've not been good enough, it's as simple as that. Nothing more to it. As professionals, we can take the praise when it comes. We've had a lot of praise over the past few seasons, and we're rightly being criticised at the minute. We know how important the league is now, so in there we'll recover quickly. Tomorrow we'll recover quickly, and it's a tough game here against Fulham, but we need to pick up in the league. But there's nothing more than that. We've been on bad runs before. Last season we went on a long unbeaten run, not a long unbeaten run, we did do that as well, but a long run with a win, and it's very easy to panic, get too critical, but in there we're professionals. We're not happy with what's been on the park, what we're doing, and the results we're getting, so we know we need to turn it round, but what we've got is the quality there, and tonight we showed it, but it's not enough.
Look, you got the goal tonight. I do want to ask you just about Ollie Watkins. The longer that wait goes on, as a captain and perhaps more importantly his mate, do you feel you need to put your arm around him, give him some confidence? Where do you feel he's at as he waits for that goal?
Well, Ollie's a top-class striker. He's not in the England squad for nothing. He's shown over the years here how good a striker he is. And if he's not scoring, that's fine. You see the effort he puts in for the team. We don't need to put any pressure on Ollie. We don't need to add to any external noise. He's been brilliant for us, and he's got nothing to prove to us.
Well, John, thanks. Spot on tonight, mate.
To say we now have Ezri Konsa who's come to join us. First thing that the boys say to you when you come out here is talking about your trainers. What were you saying?
No, I said I had them back in the late 90s, I think. Old school, they've come back. Everything comes back, doesn't it? Yeah.
Bringing them back.
I like it.
Got a few of them, so yeah.
What's the mood like in the dressing room? You guys must be relieved to have got that first win, finally.
Yeah, very relieved. I still feel like there's a lot of things that we can improve on as a team. As you can see out there, I felt like we could have controlled the game a bit more. I feel like we had chances as well. Could have buried them, but I think the boys up there, they're trying their best to get a goal, and it's just not happening so far. So, there's a lot of things we can do. We've got to go back to the training ground tomorrow and work on a lot of things to focus on Sunday's game.
Yeah, it was really positive in the first half when we spoke at half-time. So why do you think the performance level dropped in the second half?
I think it's always difficult in European competitions. Bologna are a very good team. We played them last season in Champions League. We know what they're about. I think you saw out there, we looked a bit tired, a bit leggy. But, we stayed in there, we stuck in, defended well. They put a lot of balls into the box, and I felt like we dealt with it well.
Ezri, being a former player here, you might not know that, but I played here back in the day, probably before you were born, actually. And I went through a relegation with the team, and the crowd here I found quite tricky. They turn a little bit.
Yeah.
How are you feeling that on the pitch? I mean, as a centre half now, you're in the England squad. You're becoming more of a leader. Yeah. How are you coping? Because I think it can be difficult here when you're not winning games. And look, the record's been amazing. That first Palace game after 23 games unbeaten, but suddenly you feel a bit of. There's a tension. Are you feeling this?
Yeah, we are feeling it as players, especially me at the back. My first season here, we went through a similar thing, fighting for relegation, and the crowd can be really tricky here. The boss always speaks on them being on us getting them behind our backs, and when things aren't going well, it's important that the fans stay with us. But you can see at times they got a bit frustrated, especially with some of our players. But as players, I feel like we have to be able to deal with that. We've been in the game a long time, a few of us, and for me, I have to try and block them out because things like that happen. It's part of football, and for me, I just try to stay positive as much as possible.
I mean, it's been a brilliant 2.5 years under Unai Emery. This is probably the first kind of mini blip, isn't it?
Yeah.
But again, I think it's a small body of work, 5 games, but there's so many good players to come back and say, obviously the goalkeeper Martinez, with yourself and Mings and Pau Torres, there's so many quality players. You just feel like get through this little hump and then get back to winning ways.
Yeah, 100%. I think today's a good starting point. Yeah. A win that we really needed to to give us a bit of confidence going into Sunday's game. Like you said, we've got a lot of quality on the pitch, a lot of players to come back. Yuri Tielemans, who's an important player for us in the midfield. It's difficult. Last season we went through a blip as well, 8 games I think in all competitions without a win. But I feel like at that point we were scoring goals, and it just felt a bit different. And now we ain't scoring as much. It just feels a bit, a bit low.
If you get the penalty, the game's dead, isn't it? And then obviously they had a couple of chances after. They kind of threw everything forward, didn't they?
Is that not the next step for you now, that you then become the leader? Yeah. One of the leaders, and you get these guys through what, we're looking at Morgan Rogers tonight. I think he lost the ball 28, 29 times. We never really seen him do that before. And it's about, we know what's under the bonnet, but encouraging him to do more.
Yeah, you have to. Morgan's still young. I think a lot of people forget he had a great season for us last year, but coming into this season he hasn't quite started the way you wanted to. But for me especially, he's a good friend of mine. I try and encourage him as much as possible, even though he lost the ball a lot of times. It's important, for a player like him. Yeah, he has to keep getting it. And the good thing about him, he keeps trying. No matter how many times he loses it, he keeps going. And for me, that's really important.
He's a superstar, isn't he? And it's unusual, actually, that you hear a manager publicly criticise a team like we heard from Unai Emery at the weekend. For you as players, were you determined to go out there tonight and just prove anyone wrong if there were any doubters out there, and actually show the manager you have got this in you to get back to winning ways? Yeah,
it's not nice when a manager doesn't speak well of you. I think it gives you that extra bit of fuel, to want to play the next game and prove him wrong. And today he wanted to see us be more of a team, stick together more, and I felt like at times in the game we showed that. And when we got in there, he was really happy with the performance in terms of the way we stuck together and encouraged each other for the game.
Next game, back home here again. How important is it just to take everything, all the positives out of this game into the next Premier League match?
Very important. We finally got a goal here, so we have to use that. And look, I'm sure Ollie's going to be even more fueled up to get a goal on Sunday.
Let's hope so.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out to talk to us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Bye, mate.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
That was very polite of you. Nice to meet you.
Well, it is. You don't often get to meet the generation of players that play right now. We work in the media, but we quite often know our place. I liked him. You can see the improvement in him as a player. He's quick, he's mobile. He's now one of England's #1 central defenders. He just needs to, maybe the leadership is the next step that he has. And when you're in difficult situations, actually, when everything's going well for you, it's easy. Yeah. But, you really see the character come out of people when it's tough. And it's a bit tough for Villa right now.
What a great talker, by the way.
Yeah.
He stood there confident. You come through as a young man and you try and break through. And then you become an established player in one of the top teams, in England International. And I love the way he spoke and analysed the game. He absolutely nailed it. So the thing is, when you set these standards like he has and Morgan Rogers, then there's a little bit more expectation, and rightly so. And I think obviously they've had a mini blip, but again, it's only 5 games, and I think they'll get back to winning ways, get everybody fit and healthy, and they'll be just fine, Aston Villa.
All right, well, let's take a look back at how this match played out then. Back to the first half, in the 13th minute was when Aston Villa took the lead through their captain, John McGinn. The goal comes from the second phase of a corner, Martin. Talk us through what you spotted. Engineered. Yeah.
But the man-to-man marking, this obsession with man-to-man marking, just leaves it's a huge area of space. Yeah, I did it, but not for set pieces. We did zonal. And if this is zonal, that's cleared. But you leave that kind of space, and what a finish that is.
He said he scuffed it, didn't he? He just walked by, he said he scuffed it. But I like the first part more. They worked a short one.
Definitely.
Okay, they don't get that one there from Rogers towards the back post. But to be fair, almost in the 5th phase, begins at the edge of the box. You wait there as a central midfield player on corners. I promise you, it will come. You just got to be ready, and he finishes it off. He's another one. He spoke brilliant. They have all these guys, Mings himself, Emi Martinez, Ollie Watkins. They've got all these guys with big personalities. They just got to help these young guys.
The minute detail for set pieces, the way that they've engineered that space. You want to mark us? Okay, we'll take you away and we'll leave that space to come into, and it's really difficult to defend from after that.
At half-time, we spoke about all the positives from Aston Villa in the first half, and going into the second half, we expected them to double their lead, and they got the golden opportunity with a penalty that Ollie Watkins stepped up to take, but it was saved by the Bologna goalkeeper, Owen. Was this a penalty from a player that just looked like he was lacking in confidence?
Well, initially he doesn't take a great touch, and then he handballs it. Then the ref says, you got the advantage, play on, and then they turn it over straight away. Balls in behind, is he offside, is he not? Times has run quite well, and then he obviously brings him down, and you think, right, you've not scored in a few games.
8 matches.
But see, this is what he's great at. Get on the shoulder and run in behind. He's too quick, nobody can live with him. And
this is extremely close, by the way.
Yeah, it is close, but you know what? In the end, they looked at it and they got a spot on. I think Bernardeschi just plays him on. But you think they're 1-0 up. Ollie Watkins from the penalty spot, get the second, then finish the game off, and then it's dead. But
it would have been great for his confidence as well to tuck that one away. And I think what he's trying to do is just roll it down the middle. And he just doesn't look. He doesn't actually look at the keeper. No. You see a lot of players these days look at the keeper. He's got his eyes fixed on the ball, and he gets it wrong. And then that brought about a level of pressure that we're talking about. That can happen here at Villa Park.
Does it just put more pressure on him now to get that next opportunity, particularly when you've missed a penalty?
I mean, he'll be annoyed, obviously. But the thing is, I think he'd rather just hit it with conviction. You know, everybody's doing this run-up where you start on the right and take a couple steps left. It just needs a couple steps and then smash it, pick a corner. So it didn't look like the cleanest penalty I've ever seen him take, but he's on a bit of a dry spell. But that, again, numbers-wise, that will change. You know, he'll get chances in the scoring against Fulham on the weekend. You know, hopefully that's it for him. But he just didn't... Look, when confidence is down, it can be hard as a player. And he's not at his best, but I'm sure he's too good not to turn it around.
Villa were really holding on towards the end, and Bologna had a couple of really good chances themselves. But did the majority of their chances come from Villa's sloppy play?
Well, this is what we were talking about. Number of times you lose possession at the highest level, then teams come, you invite pressure, and this is what was happening with Villa. Now, whether it's there's Tielemans isn't in that midfield, and Rodgers is, not got the same. He's not as high up the pitch. He's losing at deep positions, and then all of a sudden you're inviting your opponent on. Okay, that's from distance, so there's not too much wrong with that. But here again, they've lost possession, and then it's counter-attack. And it's like, then it's almost like 1v1 here again. And they just can't get tight. And then the ball's coming into the box. I think I counted 26 crosses tonight. That should be a better finish. They were lucky there that wasn't put away. And that became the story of the second half. They've just sat quite deep. Again, it's another switch ball. It's going to come into the box quickly, and then what a header that is. I mean, it's only the crossbar that saves Villa there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they did well to win in the end. I mean, Bologna had so many chances. This one, what's a brilliant save from the goalkeeper, who I thought had some really good moments in the game. But I think Unai will be delighted with the fact they won the game. Okay, they didn't play their best. They kept a clean sheet. They scored. And now they've got to kick on and do the same thing in the Premier League. Sometimes
when you're in this type of run, it's just more important to get the result than anything.
You've got to look at the positives. I thought the two central halves formed a good partnership. I like Kamara in midfield. He had some lovely touches. He's a wonderful player, sits between the two central defenders when he build up. It's just not quite clicking at the moment in the final third, all these connections, but there's been changes. But I'm sure it will come now.
Unai Emery has won 4 times. He's the record holder of trophies in this competition. It's quite incredible. Before the game, Owen, you said that you think that you can see Aston Villa going all the way and winning this. After the performance we saw tonight, do you still feel the same?
Wow. Yeah, I do actually, yeah. Look, his name should be on the trophy. That's how many times. It's incredible, really. 4 times could be his 5th. And he's probably got the best squad in it. And they've got the most experienced manager. So they'll play better than they did today. You've got to think, Tyrone Mings can come back into this team. Obviously, Tielemans, Emi Martinez. They have the stronger squad. Obviously, they can play better than they did today. But again, I said, when confidence is low, football's not as easy as everybody makes out. So you look at the fixtures coming up, I think they can...
They're winnable, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very winnable. Yeah, I really do. And I think this Villa team, they just got to get the confidence back up and then be a fair team. This place is a tough place to come and play. Bologna, fair play to them, played well. But I think we're going to see a different Aston Villa in a few weeks' time.
They really need to make this win tonight count going forward in terms of momentum, don't they?
They do, and you saw it all over Emery's face, didn't you? He knows the importance of winning this, and momentum is everything. Like 5 finals he's been in, for goodness sake. The only one he didn't win, wouldn't hold it against him, but it was the Arsenal final against Chelsea. But every other
Sounds
one...
like you are, to be fair.
Well, maybe. But, he's been remarkable. I mean, he should be really proud of that record. And, of course, they'll use that going forward now, Villa.
OK, well, let's hear from the Villa boss now. Unai Emery is with Becky Ives.
Unai, congratulations, the first win of the season. Just how hard did you have to work to see that one through tonight?
We won in pre-season. Thank you. At home, I felt always here 3 years since I arrived, always strong and confident and creating and building a great atmosphere with energy players, supporters, and today I felt it again. Sometimes tactically you need, sometimes individually you need, but if you are not building here one energy way, is more difficult. And today we did it. And then is to play. Of course, always is difficult as well. And Bologna, they play well, they demand us a lot. But we played adapting of them and trying to dominate as well in our moments. And I think we won, and we deserve to win.
A great goal for John McGinn. Ollie Watkins, I have to ask you, the longer the wait goes on for his goal, as his manager, do you sense there is a lack of confidence or any sort of mental block potentially developing because he can't seem to score at the minute?
He worked today like he is. And it's the first step to recover his confidence. Then he had a penalty, okay, and he created chances as well. But the most important is to recover again confidence and firstly to do your task like he did today. This is the first step he did, and fantastic.
So you're confident that the goals will return?
We'll need more. We'll need more.
Do you feel you saw more of the identity of Aston Villa, what you're looking for out there tonight?
Yes, definitely.
And now backing this up against Fulham in the Premier League, are you hoping this could potentially be a springboard or a turning block to give the players confidence if they were lacking in confidence in terms of getting the results?
We need players. And today some players they played, they will repeat on Sunday, and another player they didn't play in the starting 11, they will play on Sunday. And Fulham again is very difficult, and we have to try to keep consistency our way. And we are not being consistent until today. Today we won, of course it's important, and we have to try to be consistent on Sunday. Different match, different rival, but a lot of things tactically we have to continue in building, and of course some players they have to continue adapting of us, and then keep progressing. Of course today this win I think will help us to try to continue working more or less being positive. But each match is coming like as something we have to try to get as a challenge and to fight and to try to prepare as better as possible and try to be demanding with the players preparing it.
Look, your fans out there tonight, they never stopped singing. They were chanting Ollie Watkins' name regardless of what happened with the penalty. A first win in Europe. Does this set the tone that this season could be another special season for Aston Villa in Europe and for your fans?
When I arrived here, I told my dreams. My dreams was to play in Europe. Of course, we played Conference League, we played Champions League, and now in Europa League, I am so happy. And then how we can feel improving everything, and as well how we can be consistent in Premier League, because through Premier League usually you are getting your objective at the end of the season. And we did it through the Premier League, the first year Conference, the second year Champions League, and this year playing Europa League. Then try to be contender for some trophies. In Europe, of course, in Conference we were, but we lost the semi-final because it's very, very difficult to win. In Champions League we got a cut to the final, and this year I am positive, I am excited, I am motivated for the Europa League, but I know it's very difficult to win through it. This is the reason the Premier League is the best and the first objective we have, because we know through it, being consistent, we can achieve our objective. But we started lack of points or lack of some feelings we need to recover. Like today, we recovered it, and hopefully on Sunday we can show it again.
Unai, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, well, he talks about the dream of winning this trophy again. He's a manager that thrives in European competition. And as players, when you know you've got a manager as successful as he is, that must give you confidence you can.
He has very definitely got an affinity with this competition. There's no doubt about that. I think what he's trying to do is trying to recover the confidence of the group. And he's talking about the first step to doing that is by working hard. And that's not an easy thing for him to do. Maybe it's the best competition for him to qualify for the Champions League next year is to win the Europa League. And I feel that's something in his dreams, he's saying he wants to do.
Yeah.
There's a reason Unai is one of the best, because he has demands and expectations, and he'll get this Aston Villa team back on track. Today, I think, was the start to that. Get a big win against Fulham on the weekend, and Aston Villa back on track.